Okay, hi everybody. So I figured the easiest thing to do would be to make a video and post it to Facebook because everybody is amazing and so interested and wants to know what's going on. But it's just a bit tiring telling everybody individually. So I thought I would make a little video, post it online, and everyone can kind of be updated in the one place. So I'm sure there's probably some people even watching that have absolutely no idea what's going on, because if you miss it in your newsfeed, you just miss it. So I will take it all the way back to the start and fill you in, and yeah. So on September the 1st, I had this like weird numb episode on the left side of my body, went to the hospital. They took some tests and they did a scan because I'd had a seizure when I was pregnant with Oscar, and so they thought maybe it was linked, and they thought they would find nothing, but unfortunately they came back and they discovered that there was a tumor. So that's when all this craziness began. And so we got transferred over to Trillium Hospital, because apparently they're great at dealing with that kind of stuff and have great like neurosurgeons and things like that, which was true because we got the most amazing neurosurgeon. He's just an incredible guy. So within 2 days I was booked in and I was being operated on the 3rd of September. And so basically they were taking out the tumour and then it was going to have to go away for tests to figure out what it was. So lots and lots of prayers that it would be benign. But that was not actually the case. So we had to wait at home for 2 weeks to get the test results back. And it came back as a stage 3 brain tumour, which basically means I have brain cancer. And the medical prognosis is that it's not if it will kill me, it's when it will kill me. So basically their timeline is I could have 3 years, I could have 30 years. It's all about how well my body fights it, how long they can preserve me for, basically. Like they'll keep testing me every 3 months, checking my brain, and they're in a sense it's like they're just waiting for it to reappear, and they'll just see how long they can treat me for until eventually they can't treat me anymore. So pretty bleak, to say the least, but that's where all the goodness of God comes in, and I've got lots of really cool stories. I'm very calm right now because I've had lots of time to process it. There's moments where I'm crying, there's moments where I'm happy, and so right now is just a good moment, so it's a good chance to make a video and tell you all. So though that's the medical report, we're not holding on to that at all, and there's been so many things that we can hold on to in place of that. So for example, the surgeon told me 100% guaranteed that I would have limited mobility and weakness in my right side after surgery because of where the tumor was, if that's what controls the right side function of my body. He told me that about 4 or 5 different times. Not even a percentage of maybe this percentage, this percent. It was like, these were his words. 100% guaranteed you will have weakness and limited mobility. The question is, does it stay like that way forever? Does it improve or does it go away altogether? We won't know until time will tell. So we prayed against that. We're like, no, we did not receive that. We're not having that. That is not, just no. So as soon as I woke up from the surgery, not even 1% was my body affected from that. So that was pretty phenomenal because like literally he told me 4 or 5 times 100% guaranteed. So there was not even the possibility in his mind that it wouldn't happen. He didn't even give me there's a 50 to 100% chance. Like there was no leeway. It was like this is guaranteed, absolute, going to happen. So that was number 1 miracle. There's just so many cool moments where God has been so involved in it all. The very next day after surgery, they released me from hospital because I was responding so well. I didn't even have to take a single painkiller. You take painkillers for headaches. I just had my brain cut open and my skull opened and needed no painkillers. What else was there? So many cool things. Some of my pills were causing really bad insomnia and joint pain, which kept me up a lot at night, which was not good having 3 little kids the next day and running on like maybe 3 hours of sleep a night. So I got a lot of people to just pray for me that my body would respond well to the meds and that the side effects would not affect me. And within a couple of days, all the side effects left. I had a little bit still of insomnia, but all the pain left, and then not long after, the insomnia stopped too. So I sleep through the night, which is amazing. I got to walk Vienna to school. When they first told me about the tumour, I was like, one of the things that made me the saddest was like, oh, I'm supposed to be taking her to school in a few days, and that was like, my mama heart was just so sad thinking I was going to miss that. But because everything went so well and I was able to walk out of the hospital, I was able to walk her to school a couple of days later for her very first day of kindergarten. So that was a huge answer to prayer, because I was just like, Jesus, please, like, I don't want to miss that. That was such a big moment for me. So that was really cool. Then the night before my surgery, I was laying in bed. I was asleep, and I just woke up out of nowhere, and God gave me this picture of my son, Oscar, on his wedding day. And I could see the whole thing, like what he was wearing, his bride, everything. And I was there, and I just was like, no, God, like, you're giving me this as something to hold on to and as a sign that I'm going to be there. So I just held on to that, like, so tightly. And then a week or so later, I was having just like a sad moment. And I said to Kirsten, oh, do you think I just made that up to give myself this false hope, like, that I'm going to live and be at his wedding? And then I said, no, you know what, like, I'm choosing to believe that that was from God, that was something that he was showing me to hold on to. And that would have been enough, because I felt so filled with hope again just in that moment. But the very next day, we were at church, and a pastor that we know gave me a word, and he said, this is so cool. He said, when we found out what was going on and the diagnosis and stuff, God gave me a picture of you at your son's wedding day. And you and Kirsten were standing at the altar, and you looked to each other and you said, do you remember when? And it was like everything my heart could have needed in that moment, because it was like the very day before I'd questioned, was that even God? Was I just making it up? And the very next day, God was like, no, I will confirm this, and I will show you my goodness, and I will give this other person the exact same picture so that you know that it's from me and it's something that you can hold on to. So I was like, oh, because that was like my mama heart just holding on to that so tightly. It was amazing. Then I've got some really other cool things to share. I know this is a bit long, but this is cool stuff, so I'm going to tell you about it. So the reason they say that this tumour is supposed to kill me is because they can never fully take it all away. So the roots, they take the tumour, but the roots are left, and so it will just keep regrowing itself, basically, is the medical opinion. So one of my dear papa friends, Kevin Cormier, we were at his house one Sunday, and he said, I was praying for you, Jill, and God gave me this verse in the Bible, and it's about when Jesus and his disciples are out and they're walking, and they walk past this fig tree, and Jesus stops and he curses the fig tree, and he says, you will never bear fruit again. And in that moment, nothing happens, they leave. But the next day, they're back in town, and they're walking past the same tree. And one of his disciples says, look, Jesus, the tree's dead. It's withered and died from the roots up. And Kevin was like, why did it wither and die from the roots up? And his wife, Christine, said, because God went directly to the source of the tree where it originated and took it out from there. And I was like, that is it. And they didn't know the word about the roots being left behind from the doctor. So I was like, that's crazy, because the reason this is supposed to come back is because of the roots, and God's giving you this word about him cursing this thing and it withering from the roots up. That same day, one of my mum's friends emailed, and a few months before, God had given her this word, and it was just like out of nowhere, and she said it was like so like distinct and authoritative, and like she just knew she had to write it down, but she had no idea who it was for and why on earth she was even hearing it. But God said, I get the final say on stage 3 cancer. So when she heard my prognosis, she just knew, this is for Gillian, and my prognosis is stage 3 cancer, and God's saying, I get the final say on stage 3 cancer. And he gave her the verse about the fig tree on the same day that Kevin gave me the verse about the fig tree being cursed and withering and dying from the roots up, and never to bear fruit again. So, I'm sorry, but this is just ridiculously amazing. How can you not hold on to that? What else is there? Simple things like Evangeline. We needed to put her in school because I can't, in daycare, because there's just no way I could handle taking care of her on top of all this and going through treatment. I've just began yesterday. radiation and chemo. So it's tiring, and we're at the hospital every day, except for weekends, so we can't be taking her with us. So we called her old daycare, and for those of you who tried to get your kid in daycare, you need to sign up way in advance. They just happened to have a spot for her in her exact old daycare that she used to go to, so that was another answered prayer. Then, big shout out here to the incredible Milton Mummy group that I'm part of, Milton Mummies 2016. So this is just a group of mummies in my town that are all having babies in the same year, and so there's a Facebook group, and there's like play dates, walks, get-togethers, mummy nights, and just like a Facebook page where you can basically ask for advice, vent, all your crazy parent questions and moments, and it's just this really awesome group of ladies. So when all this happened, when they found the tumour, that same day they said you can't breastfeed your son anymore. So that was sad, but I was also just worried because he has a very sensitive tummy. So I was like, how can I be in hospital for the next week getting brain surgery and leaving him with my friends and family and just saying, go to the store and buy formula and I hope he eats. So that was like something that just was really a big deal and really worrying for me. So I contacted Sharon Zach, the amazing lady who started the group, and just chatted to her about milk because I'd seen her post about like breast milk banks. So she organized the whole thing and has been bringing breast milk for me and pumping like crazy, and just amazing. So I've had all this donated breast milk so that Oscar can keep eating, and we didn't have to worry about changing him to formula and how he would respond because he already has a sensitive tummy. And it's been amazing. But also what's really cool is 2 days before they found the tumour, out of nowhere, my mother-in-law bought me a freezer for my basement, which is amazing because otherwise we would have had nowhere to even store this milk. So you can call that coincidence if you like, but I'm just thinking that God's been in every detail of this, because he has, just like every detail. It's unbelievable. Then, this is really cool. So I had doctor's appointments and naturopath appointments, and after they were back to back 2 days in a row, and after that I just felt so overwhelmed with this possible side effect, this possible outcome, you should do this, you shouldn't do this, and suddenly feeling like the weight was all on me of what do I pick and how do I control this and what am I supposed to do to make this go away, and then just realizing there is nothing, like it's God. Like I can steward my health, absolutely, I can steward what I eat, I can steward what I put into my body, what I put on my body, but at the end of the day, like he gets the final say, and he's in control, and all I can do is trust. So I had another one of those moments where I'm like, crying mess. And then every time I have a moment where like I receive news or doctor's verdicts or whatever it is, and I just need to process it and feel the emotion, then I stop and I rely on myself, and I'm like, no, this is the truth of who God is. Just like with Oscar, when I questioned whether I really did see that picture or if I made it up, when I realigned myself in his truth and said, no, I'm choosing to believe this, the next day he's like, I see you realigning yourself in the truth, I see you agreeing with me, and I will confirm that, and I will show you that yes, I am in this. And he gave someone else the exact same picture. So Kirsten's having God time that night after I'd had a moment of emotion and had a good cry, and then stopped and said, no, God is in this, we're trusting him, we can trust him. So Kirsten's reading the Bible. He just flips open to this random page. It doesn't even start at the top, his eyes are directly drawn to the middle. And this is the verse, so I'm going to read it to you because it's so cool. He told me the next morning, and I cried a lot because it's just so cool. It's like, of all the millions and billions of words in the Bible and all the pages and all the verses, this is where his Bible flipped open to, and this is where his eyes were drawn to, not even starting at the top. So, it's Ezekiel 17:9. This is what the sovereign Lord says. Will it thrive? Will it not be uprooted and stripped of its fruit so that it withers? All its new growth will wither. It will not take a strong arm or many people to pull it up by the roots. It has been planted, but will it thrive? Will it not wither completely when the east wind strikes, wither away in the plot where it grew? Come on. Like, this is talking about new growth not happening, not gonna happen. It completely withering away in the plot where it grew, talks about it being uprooted, stripped of its fruit, and those other words about the roots. And I'm like, this is like, you can't make this stuff up. Then he flips to another page, and his eyes are directly drawn to one sentence, and it says, and he ordered that her request be granted. I'm just like, God, like, just his constant faithfulness, his constant goodness, all these words, all this hope, all this stuff to hold on to. And it's honestly the most incredible thing about it is it's not been this striving, it's been his absolute kindness, where I don't have to wake up each day and be like, please God. It's just like this ease and this, no, you have me. You have us. You're holding us. You're holding my whole family. I can see you covering the kids. They're happy and they're peaceful. They're not aware of everything that's going on. They are still so content. And Kirsten's just been like the most heroic champion of a husband in the world, like just doing everything. Because the first few weeks just recovering from the surgery, I was very tired, very weak, really couldn't hardly do anything, could barely even hold Oscar, so that was hard, and he just completely stepped up to the plate and did everything. So what a man he is. But yeah, I think that is, I know that there's more, but it's hard to recall everything, but there's just so many moments where it's like God is showing his faithfulness over and over again. And so although we haven't had this pinnacle moment yet where the tumor dissolved, or where it wasn't benign, or where they said, oh, you don't need to have chemo and radiation, we can't explain it, it's gone, we're just trusting that whatever method God is choosing to use, and whatever we have to face, that he is in every detail of it. And he's been telling me that time and time again, like, he did not bring this, he did not cause it, but he's in every detail of my life right now, and he's working it for good. And he's like, it's been so evident, like his presence is just so tangible. Yeah, I just will just put some music on, some worship music, and I'll just lay down, and I literally just feel like I'm just floating, like just being completely carried by this unexplainable peace. And it talks about that in the Bible, like it says like that. Now I can't even remember the word for it, but it's, how can I not even remember the word for that? Basically, it's peace that doesn't even make sense. Peace that surpasses all understanding. That we will have a peace that surpasses all understanding. And you know why it talks about it surpassing all understanding is because there is no way in the world that I should feel so full of peace right now. It absolutely does surpass my understanding. Like, how is that even comprehensible, that I should feel so much peace and hope in a time like this, where actually the prognosis is like, you could have 3 years, you could have 5, you could have 10. We've seen people live varying from 3 to 30, but at some point it's going to take you out. Like, that should be like overwhelmingly weighty and just hopeless. But the hope and the peace that he brings, and my ability to trust him in this all, has just been nothing less than supernatural, because it's not in my strength. It's not, I couldn't conjure this up. It's like he is just carrying me. So I just want to thank you all for praying. I want to ask that you just continue to do that as we go through this process of treatment. We really just felt peace about following this route. We talked to him about it. Didn't feel him saying no. So we're going ahead with it. This is day 2. I'll be heading to the hospital shortly. Yeah, so if you could just continue to pray that even this would be a testimony in itself, that I would have like no side effects, that everything they're expecting wouldn't happen, just like with the whole numbness, that was totally expected, guaranteed. So I know that God met me in that, and he can meet me in their expectations and guarantees of what's going to happen during chemo and radiation, and that can be another testament of his goodness, because he has been so good and so present and so faithful. So I'll just keep you posted along the way, but this is pretty cool. I mean, for some of you, you might want to call a lot of this coincidences, but I just know that it's God. Like, he just keeps showing himself time and time again to be faithful and to be good, and to just be so present. And so, yeah, I love you all. Please keep praying for us. Pray for my kids, that they would just continue to be surrounded by him and be carried by him. And just for Kirsten, that he would just have the strength to carry on and to be my husband and my partner, my best friend, to keep being so supportive, and for all the extra tasks that he has to do around the house, where he's taken on more and so much more. But he's been amazing. So just, yeah, if you could just keep us in your prayers, that would be so, so incredible. And we so value it, and it's just been carrying us completely. So yeah, that's it. I'll keep you posted as time goes on. But love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.